Intrastate rivals. 19th ranked Mississippi State, number 24 Ole Miss. Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN.
Lehigh running back Ronald is in the Division I AA playoffs against Hofstra on Saturday. He's run for more than 1,300 yards and 26 touchdowns this season. That's well and good. It's also a minor part of what he's accomplished. Before he arrived in football, there was the more crucial matter of belonging anywhere. Steve Cyphers tells this story.
Give us to Ronald Gene. Touchdown, Lehigh.
What makes Ronald Gene Ronald Gene?
I think deep down inside, there's a burning desire not to be like his mom.
A mom who Gene says depended on alcohol and getting high to get through the day. A mother, he says, who abused him.
Getting hit with all kind of objects, whatever objects around, because at times she hit me with extension cords, whatever around, get hit with that. And when she's under the influence, doing things that a person would normally do.
Like the time she ran a knife across his stomach. By September 1990, 13-year-old Ronald Gene made the choice that would change his life. At a bus station in West Palm Beach, Florida, he told his mother that he was not going with her and his 3-year-old sister to live in New York.
Basically, what was going through my mind was like, I don't want to be with her. Like, I don't want to go through this for another day of my life. Before we got on the bus, I kind of told her, like, I'm not going. She was like, why? I'm like, I'm sick or tired of all these abuse, and I don't want to be with you no more. So when she got on the bus, when she said fine, I kind of just walked away.
You didn't look back?
No, I didn't look back. And I kind of sat there, and I just sat down, and I cried.
That was the last time he saw her. He became a ward of the state, moving from shelter to shelter, foster home to foster home, with no photographs from his childhood. His pictures are memories he'd rather forget. But he found an escape in the game of football.
In 8th grade year, I went out for it. Didn't know much about it. All I know about was running back, because you just run the ball.
And you could run?
Yeah, and I could run. That's one thing. I could always run.
By the time he went to Boca Raton High School, he was still running, away from his haunting past, to the promise of something better. From a puny 5'2", 100-pounder, he grew to become a 5'4", 170-pound dynamo. And Chris Demarest, scouting other players for Lehigh at the time, noticed.
He was breaking tackles, he was making people miss, and he had a lot of speed. And I kept seeing it over and over again. And I knew there wasn't anybody in our league that had that type of capability.
Gene went to Lehigh, but it wasn't easy. For 8 months, he had lived with the family of Jay Minton, his high school coach. And the Mintons drove him to school that first semester.
He was very upset, didn't want us to leave. Our phone bill was astronomical for the first month of his freshman year. He stayed in his room with his covers over his head and cried and wanted to come home.
I think he was afraid that he was losing something that he really liked, you know, in a family, and which he never has and he never will. We're always going to be here for him.
Even now, though they moved from Florida to Ohio, where Minton still coaches, the calls still come from the young man they call their brother, their son. It's a feeling shared by another family, the Andersons, back in Boca Raton. Now, their home is his home when he's not in school. Christmas is always spent here. The last year's holiday is one Mercedes Anderson will forever treasure.
We went to church, and he came over to the house after. I mean, he was with us. He was living with us then, and he came back to the house with us. And he said, I need to tell you something, you know, before the night goes on anymore or whatever. And I said, you know, okay, go ahead. And he said that, I cried. He said that he always felt at home here, and that he always felt that we were his family.
Looking back at it, I'm happy that I never let those people that have confidence in me, that believed in me down.
Now he doesn't want to let himself down. Though he's just 5'5", 187, he wants to play professionally.
He's conquered everything else. What makes you think he can't do that, you know? That's the way I look at it.
It is the only way to look at Ronald Gene, the boy who had nothing and now seemingly has it all. The underdog whose huge heart is measured not by the effort on a football field, but by the compassion he feels for the mother who left him.
Over the years, I forgive her for what she did. Like, basically why I want to find her, basically to show her how I turn out. Like I turn out, whatever you did to me, look at me now, look how I turn out.
After graduating in May, Gene says he'll carry on with his 2 goals, seeking to make the NFL and seeking to find his mother and his sister.
Still to come.